Welcome everyone. 4P Group, in partnership with the Swiss Impact Investing Association, the Geneva Impact Investing Association, the Impact Investing Solutions, would like to welcome you all to our second Freedom of Expression debate. This debate series relaunches a new version of the so-called Coppet meetings, which pay tribute to the former Coppet Group think tank, a network that spanned across Europe. This think tank, with Marie-Henri Bell, better known by his pen name Stendhal, would later name the Summit of European Opinion, was created under the impetus of Anne-Louise Germain de Stahl-Holstein, born on the 22nd of April 1766, long time ago, and died on the 14th of July 1817. Commonly known as Madame de Stahl, who was a prominent woman of letters and a political theorist in both Parisian and Genevan intellectual circles. She positioned herself at the heart of the Coppet Group to debate philosophical and political questions in the late 18th century, early 19th centuries. In other words, in 2024, we celebrate 221 years of free speech in Coppet. This evening event will be a mixture of the so-called monk debates and the Oxford Union Society-style debate, where, in this case, 7 leaders, thinkers, and influencers of the international Geneva ecosystem will debate a predetermined motion. Some of you might recall that last year, the Swiss Sustainable Finance, they launched a survey in which a number of questions were raised, including what is needed to further scale investment with impact in Switzerland. And some of the answers for the listed market was a clear definition of impact, was considered very important, and the same applies for the private markets, which considered a clear definition of impact as important. Another thing was transparency on achieved impact, was also considered very important for listed market, and it was likewise considered very important for private markets. So what is ESG investing? Generally, it means including material, environmental, social, and corporate governance factors in investment analysis that might have significant impact on investment performance, for example, to reduce risk or increase financial return. It represents the investor's interest in generating a financial return and therefore the impact of the world on investment performance. For the purpose of this event, we use the OECD definition of ESG investing as an investment approach that seeks to incorporate greater and more consistent information regarding material, environmental, social, and governance development, risks and opportunities into asset allocation and risk management decisions so as to generate sustainable long-term financial returns. Such definition is clearly focused on enterprise value, also defined as financial materiality. A risk management approach focused on financial returns is seeking to address the risk of environmental, social, and governance factors that affect the enterprise value, investee value based on its financial return. In other words, the problem this approach is trying to solve is a financial one, where environmental or social considerations are only as valid or important as their potential to affect financial returns. So today's agenda, after everyone has checked in, so we'll be debating basically, we'll be debating that impact investing versus ESG, understanding the difference, by specifically debating the following motion: ESG has a trust deficit. After the debate, there will be around 45 minutes of drinks, snacks, and there's even coffee for those of you who need a coffee after the debate. And that will take place here in Salle Communale. For those of you who wish to further engage with the speakers, we will be moving to La Pizzeria Coppet, which is located Place des Perrières, just outside of Coppet. If there's anyone who didn't come by car, because it's 16 minutes by foot, so maybe we can do some blah car sharing in order to take those of you with us in the cars who came with public transport. So we'll basically be evacuating this place around 8 o'clock. So with that, I open this debate. The question for debate is, there is an emerging fact that ESG has a serious trust deficit, in particular when it comes to this approach's ability to finance the SDGs. The 7 speakers will argue for maximum 5 minutes. In the case of the pro-motion team, that are, as you can see, have 4 debaters, and we have allocated additional 2 minutes to the other team that will have 7 minutes at their disposal. So team 1 is the pro-motion, that is, ESG does have a trust deficit, and team number 2 against the motion, that is, ESG does not have a trust deficit. My name is Coppet. I'm a board member of the Swiss Impact Investing Association and managing partner of 4P Group. I'm also a shareholder of a Swiss-based Waterpreneurs and Impact Africa Limited, which is based in Lusaka. And now I would like you to take forward your smartphones, if you have one, and go to slido.com. Then you type on slido.com hashtag 1193-401. 1193-401. There you have two polls. The first poll is the pre-debate votes. If you think that ESG has a trust deficit, you click on I. And if you think that is not the case, I can see we already have someone who believes that ESG has a trust deficit. If you do not believe that, then you click on no. So far we only had one person voting.
Can you repeat the one?
Are you able to get log in? If you can't access your own, the wireless connection is 1296 Coppet, that is Salle Communale, and then the password is 1296 Coppet with a big C, O-P-P-E-T. You need to log into the wireless. The Slido code is hashtag 1193-401. While you're voting, then we continue. So the role of the audience, basically, the audience can challenge the speaker at any time during the debate by raising a point of information. However, it remains at the full discretion of the individual speaker whether to accept or reject the interjection, since the time will not be stopped during the intervention from the floor. So far, we only have one. Are you able to get to slido.com? The whole point is to see where we are before the debate and see if the speakers will be able to change your mind during the debate. Alternatively, as you could see on the 2 chairs behind, if you want to be transparent about where your position are with regard to the motion, you can also vote with your feet. So as you can see here, those who support this team before the debate, you sit on this side of the aisle, and those who support the other team will sit on this one. And then after the debate, you can change seats if you are not able to. Yeah. Well, we still need to have a vote. There's only one person that was able to vote so far. Are you able to go to slido.com? Have you found the...
I can see 16 people here.
There's still only one person that's voting.
Can you refresh it?
It's still hashtag 11, you go slido.com, hashtag 1193-401. So after the debate that will last for approximately 50 minutes, there will be, the audience will have 10 minutes where we open up the floor to the audience where you can either ask a question or you can give a short speech. maximum 1 minute. And then at the end, after the Q&A, the two team captains will then have each 2 minutes to provide their rebuttal. And after 1 minute and 30 seconds, I will ring the little one. And the same applies doing the actual interventions. After 4 minutes, I will use a small clock. And once time is up, I'll use this one. Okay, I think we have votes now. Okay, I can see we have 19 people who have voted for it. 20 people has voted so far. Great. And so far, it's an uphill battle. We have 95% A and 5% no. Okay, so, and then after the rebuttals, there will be a final vote again on Slido.com. So now, I invite Mr. Banerjee to open the case for the proposition. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Moderator, and for hosting such an important evening here. So today we are going to get some clear understanding of the ESG and understand why I am and our team is against this trust deficit, which we completely believe in the ESG. But before I continue, it's my duty and my honor to introduce the opponents. The team captain, Juan Carlos. He's a global executive with 35 years of experience leading and achieving transformative growth in major banks, UBS, HSBC, etc. So it's hard to imagine anybody else representing the financial and the banking sector. He will be followed by Patrick. Patrick is also an ex-wealth manager who changed his mind after the age of 40. And he has started educating ESG to the wealth managers and asset managers. And finally, it will be Florence Angeles, who will be speaking on behalf of our organization in Paris, Club Turgotas, which is a French, European, and international economics. And you are a specialist in risk management, including ESG risk. After you guys have heard my argument, then you will understand why I think these people are exactly the right people to be in the opponent team. So with this I'll try to start. Believe me, ESG has really achieved a lot. Since its inception in 2006 by the UN, today it's globally worth around 30 trillion plus US dollars, which is 1/5 of the global AUM. In fact, it has crossed over from finance, world of investment, to the world of politics. For those who follow Trump here, I'm sorry to tell you, ESG is not a Chinese propaganda. It really exists. So, despite of such an amazing growth, which it has achieved in the last 14 years, why is there such a trust deficiency? So, I'm not an expert on finance nor on investment, so I'll just try to say it in a simple layman's language, which one question and a couple of comments. My first question will be, even with such a growth and such an amazing performance, why is our planet in such a deplorable condition as it is today? Whether it's on the society or planet, and it would have costed far lesser money to achieve the 17 SDGs than what ESG at this moment is managing. As some of you who may be knowing, I'm also on the board of CLC, the Climate Leadership Coalition, which is Europe's largest group on climate change, the business organization. And believe me when I tell you that climate is really in a bad shape. And I think most of you know it. Some of you who may have read the news, the last 9 months we have crossed the 1.5 degrees Celsius of this year. And biodiversity and whatever you can go on, there is not much positive news to gather. So I'll start with a couple of questions, or I'll tell you the points why I think ESG is failing. So the reason why I think if you look at it as an example, Philip Morris. Philip Morris is one of the club of companies supposed to be doing exceptionally well in ESG. A company which sells 700 billion cigarettes per year. It's in the Dow Jones Sustainability Index, one of the indexes which measures ESG factor. The core of the problem is how ESG rating is done, powered by rating MSCI or Sustainable Analytics are computed. Contrary to what many people may think, or many investors may think, most ratings don't have anything to do with actual corporate responsibility, as is related to the ESG factors. Instead, they measure the degree to which a company's economic value is at risk due to the ESG factors. For example, a company emitting significant amount of greenhouse gas can still get a decent ESG score if the rating shows that the polluter behavior is well managed and is not threatening the company's financial value. This explains also why companies like Exxon and BP, which pose existential threat to the planet, get an average BBB plus aggregate score from MSCI, which also puts companies like Philip Morris in a very good rate. Another issue is how the rating managers assign weight to each ESG factor. To compute a company's ESG score, they assign weights to each of the ESG factors and then aggregate to result the composite ESG score. For example, Pepsi and Coca-Cola, both companies get high ESG scores from the biggest rating organizations, are also typically among the most, they own the largest holdings of the largest ESG funds, largely because they rank high on parameters such as corporate governance and GHG. However, the core business may be very, very harmful. Or take Amazon, and I can go on and on with these examples. But these companies with ESG score also are managing a lot of disasters on this planet. And lastly, the issue is not all of us, when we are confronted with the issues which is happening in the climate, which is happening environmentally and socially, the investors are becoming more and more interested, and becoming aware of how to use their investments, their money, to save the planet. To capitalize on this, large financial institutions like BlackRock and Vanguard have launched hundreds of ESG funds, which are managing trillions of dollars that mirror ESG indexes. And from financial institutions, this has become a very, very good way of attracting money. So this is what the ESG is doing to us. In conclusion, I would say, as my old friend Al Gore said, if you stay in the echo chamber long enough, you become vulnerable to a new kind of AI, which is not artificial intelligence, but it is artificial insanity. Not only is ESG not working, but it's also supporting the movement of the funds into completely wrong direction. So that's why I do not have any trust in the ESG. Thank you.
Thank you. Just 7 minutes, perfect. So, I would like to introduce Captain of Team Number 2. Hello? Does it work?
Hello? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Moderator, for giving me the opportunity to speak on this important matter in this historic city of Coppet, which I love and which happens to be the sister community in which I live. Tonight, we are debating the motion on whether ESG has a trust deficit or not. Thank you for what you said. A better little title could be right versus wrong. Indeed, some people have a confusion about what if ESG is right and what is wrong. When you talk about ESG, you talk about the beauty and the possibilities ESG generates. ESG has evolved to be a material system beyond the financial industry. But before we go there, we're going to hear two different opinions, as we already started. Those who believe that the world must consider as many as possible environmental, social, and governance angles to make this world a better place, and which generates the most positive impact for all. and the contrarian arguments that believe it is okay to doubt the very fabric of what makes life, progress, and hope possible. And those guys are you. Also, we are all going to see two different approaches to teamwork. I believe small details are important in the long run. That is why I would like the audience to note the disparity in the number of team members. We are 3, and they are 4. Unless somebody objects, we welcome this disparity, which is a wrong tactic based on the overwhelming force of the masses. In our case, we believe in respect, and we believe that less is more. We believe quality is better than quantity, since we implement the sustainability principle of doing more with less. Nevertheless, we respect our opponents' strategies and goals. We truly believe they are exceptional, and we wish them the very, very best. Having said that, it gives me great pleasure to introduce the proposition speaker for tonight, Mr. Banerjee. He deserves the highest respect as a person and as a professional. He's a very resourceful man, and his expertise goes beyond sustainability. In the not-so-distant past, he developed a deep expertise in the gas and oil industry with companies rooted in Kazakhstan and in China. Also, he developed a deep expertise, extremely deep, in the cryptocurrency business in a company called Rothbody & Company. Mr. Banerjee is also a seasoned television presenter, but most remarkable is his professional transformation from oil to crypto to something that might sound like sustainable. After that, you will hear the views of Mr. Yves Carnazzola, an expert in the financial services and investment products for many years. And the same story as Mr. Banerjee. He's also very resourceful, with a remarkable transformation in very, very small period of time. To something that might sound sustainable. And also, talking about something about impact, but I didn't quite understand well in the LinkedIn page. Next, you will hear from Ms. Nadia Balgovin, a member of UNICE Pierced, technical panel on ESG reporting, and who has been advising Globe Ethics for more than 12 years. And last but not least, you will hear from Mr. Mohit Chube, a second-year student of Masters in International and Development Studies degree program, specializing in ESG at the Geneva Graduate Institute, and he has one remarkable job as an intern at the United Nations. Mr. Moderator, these are your guests, and they are most welcome. Weeks ago when Christian invited me to, and I was honored to participate in this event as a team captain, the thought immediately came to my mind, oh, we have to win the debate. However, after much reflection, it came to my senses, and I understood that my goal in life is not to win debates, but to collaborate with as many people as possible to generate the most positive outcome, utilizing the least amount of resources. That's been my approach to business and life. And this is why I believe taking care of the environment, making sure social justice exists, and that our personal and professional activities are geared towards advancing humanity. That, ladies and gentlemen, is ESG, not what Coca-Cola or MSCI says about ESGs. And yes, ESGs started as a tool to make the investment world better today. ESG is a platform of high values, like sustainability living, like conscious consumption, pertaining to the environment, community engagement, and inclusive behavior when talking about social and personal ethics, civic engagement, and the support of the ethical business. One of the many definitions refers to the core objective of ESG, which is to promote environmental sustainability, social responsibility, and ethical governance. They are universally recognized as beneficial. So I wonder why. Where is the doubt among my friends on the opposite team, and why are they so motivated to tell the world that loving the environment and our people should be doubted? I wonder if that is because they read something, or if it really comes from the bottom of their heart. By taking a deep look and dissecting what Mr. Banerjee just said, I have no choice but to connect the dots to his extensive career in the crypto and oil industry. And why not to the TV presentation business? Because the state of mind when you are a TV presenter, you have to think very quickly. You have to be on your feet to maintain the audience engaged. No matter what the theme is, and no matter if he believes it or not. Denying, doubting, or not trusting the benefits of taking care of the environment, cherry-picking particular situations that clearly can be improved, and using them to demonize the fundamental fabric of sustainable future is the wrong approach. I am the first to say that ESG regulation has huge problems. Talking to a sustainable expert last Friday here in Lyon, he told me that the biggest risk for his bank, he's a banker, was not climate change, but ESG regulation. Many times, regulation is a tick-the-box exercise. That should be and must be improved. But here is one of the many confusions. ESG is not filling a form and getting a rating. ESG is not Coca-Cola nor MSCI. The business ecosystem created around our collective effort to do good is doing everything to sell what they have. That has created enormous problems. For instance, ESG rating companies have tremendous conflict of interest. However, ESG rating companies do not have much to do with a better world. They sell a product that in many instances is wrong. Pay a lot and you have a good rating. Pay less and the rating is lower. That is a simplistic yet realistic situation. Thank you very much.
I'll now give the word to Mr. Yves Carnazzola, CEO of AxessImpact.
Do I need the micro? No.
Yes, sir.
I think, dear moderator, I don't need more than 5 minutes. It will be much more easier to communicate. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's a real pleasure.
Can you hear down there?
It's okay?
Yeah.
Oh, I will try.
Even Emma, you hear?
Okay, so we'll try with that. Okay, it's fine? So, it's a real pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to be with you tonight and to debate on this topic with my dear opponent and honored opponent. When I say debating about ESG on trust or ESG on impact investing is almost an oxymoron. I think I have to say that what do you expect for me to do? To explain again, after the brilliant introduction of Ben about the USD trillion financing gap of a planetary boundary, SDG financing gap, biodiversity loss, climate change. Do you expect me to ponder about the USD 40 trillion invested in ESG and with no clue about this financing gap or finding a partial solution to this solution outside maybe greenwashing and maybe unsustainable economic growth? Do you want me to